Hi, I'm Rachel, and this is my Author's Answer video for March 2026. The Author's Answer series was started by J.D. Archer. He began it several years ago now on his writing blog, and then every week he would pitch a question to his writing group, and then they would all answer it. And these questions were about their reading and writing lives. And he went on for, I think around 150 prompts. And then somewhere within that, JD moved over to his own AuthorTube channel and filmed a few of his Author's Answer prompts. So I'll link to his AuthorTube channel down below, as well as to the blog for all of this information. I have been asking and answering these questions of myself sequentially for the past several years, one per month. So I'll also link to my own playlist down below in case you'd like to look at my previous answers. But for now, I am up to question number 108. And this question is, what is the worst or least helpful piece of advice you've received about your writing? And with this, I am going to throw especially some family members of mine under the bus. And maybe this is a reminder that you should always, take critiques from your family members with a little bit of salt, because they're coming at things from a different angle than you are as a creative. But some of the advice I've heard inherently comes down to treat writing as a hobby and only write when you feel inspired to write. And this advice is fine if your goal is only to write for your own enjoyment. But if you want to write in any hope of improvement, much less if you ever want to get published, it is not enough just to write when you want to write. It's very difficult to find the motivation just to write, out of thin air, because it takes a lot of work to improve yourself, and it's much like building up a routine of working out. These sorts of things don't work in isolation. So you have to be aware of what your personal goals are. And for many of us, if we're here wanting to improve our writing and to publish our writing, we have to have some sort of routine in place and hold ourselves accountable and sit down to write, no matter if we feel like it or not. This doesn't mean you have to, work yourself to death. You don't maybe even have to write every day. That's a little more controversial, but the important thing is just having some sort of routine about writing regularly and sticking to it no matter what. And that your first impulse shouldn't be only to write when you feel inspired, because you're not always going to feel inspired to write. At least that's, my experience and the experience of a lot of people that, I've heard from. Especially, as you're trying to improve yourself and you're focusing on the things that are difficult for you. That can be difficult to tackle in and of itself too. So yeah, that feels like a pretty easy question, easy answer. And the answer is that if you want to improve as a writer, and especially if you want to get published, you gotta treat this with a little bit of accountability. You have to hold your feet to the fire. And that is the way that ultimately you will meet your goals. So yeah, that about covers it for me now. As I mentioned, I have all of my AuthorTube playlists and videos and links down below in case you'd like to learn more. I'll also see about finding a link or two I can put down below about setting up writing routines and writing habits, in case it would be of interest to you to see how other people have gone about this challenge. Expect me back on this channel in the near future with my next Am Reading update video for March. Hopefully I'll have some, speaking of goals to reach, I'll have some stuff to talk about in that video soon. Stay tuned for that. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Keep writing, and I'll see you next time.